of you guys want to know what it's like to tow cross-country with an electric vehicle. And quite often we have a large truck, like the one over there perhaps, that does it quite well, even though it's minimum range. But what if you have an electric car? Well, we have an excellent example for you because we have Grant and Felicia here, and they are going cross-country in an ID.4 towing a trailer, a 13-foot trailer, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out why they're doing it, where they're going, and what it's like actually to drive one of these with a trailer.
Why are we doing it? That's a good question. That is a very good question. Well, we're actually currently moving from California to South Carolina. So we kind of didn't have a choice. We had to get from one coast to the other. And before we had the ID.4, we actually had a Subaru Outback. And that's the whole reason why we bought the Scamp 13, was because it was a lightweight trailer. Without anything in it, it weighs less than 1,500 pounds. So there's a wide range of vehicles that you can tow with it. The Subaru was great for it, but the Subaru was getting up there. It was like 135,000 miles. You'd have to put more oil in every week, something like that, burning through oil. The transmission was starting to chug along. And also gas prices. Every time we'd fill the tank, it was 60, 70, 80 bucks. We're also looking for a more sustainable option. So honestly, when we were looking into getting an electric car, we were afraid we'd have to get rid of the Scamp and just say, you know, goodbye to our dreams of doing this type of lifestyle. But we started looking at a ton into it. We were considering a Chevy Bolt, which is like one of the cheapest options, but has zero towing capacity, although people have done it before. On the other end was of course, Rivians and stuff like that. Those are impossible to get and out of our price range.
Right.
And then there's the Tesla Model Y, which in our opinion would be the best vehicle to tow a trailer like this with. Has a towing capacity of 3,500 pounds. They have amazing charging infrastructure right now. Although in Moab, Utah, we did charge with a Tesla Magic Dock adapter here, which was a great experience. They're going to start opening that up.
Yeah, that's happening real soon. All right, so the reason you got this is because of affordability, and you could tow with it because you wanted to keep your Scamp. Very light, but he has more going on to induce more drag with these bikes going there and everything else, which is kind of cool because that fully tests this vehicle. So, quick question, is this the all-wheel drive version?
No, rear-wheel drive.
Ah, okay, and what year is this?
2023.
2023. So this one is actually built in the United States.
Yeah, I believe Tennessee.
Yeah, so that means that you were eligible for certain fantastic. That's good news. And because it is just the rear-wheel drive one, it gets better range.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Question is, of course, how's the range with the trailer?
Okay, so normally in normal conditions we get driving without the trailer. Normal speeds we get about 3.5 to 3.6 kilowatt hours.
Like 260 miles out of like a full battery.
With the Scamp on, it's anywhere from 1.8 miles a kilowatt hour to 2.4, with really the average being about 1.8 to 1.9, which means our range is effectively between 135 to 155 miles, depending on elevation, wind. Really the biggest factor for it is speed, and that's the weird thing. So if we're to drive 45 miles an hour with this setup, which is pretty maxed out, honestly, we could get nearly 200 miles of range in good temperature conditions. But the problem is the interstate highway speeds, you're not going 45, you're going more like, we're averaging 58 to 62 miles an hour, just honestly for safety. If we could go on back roads, that would increase our range and efficiency, but we'd go there much slower. And we're also tied to Electrify America, the network, which is mostly along interstates. So.
Totally makes sense. Let's have a look at what you got going on here. Now, first of all, this car is fully loaded in terms of physically. There's stuff that's in the back there moving. So this whole area is full, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because I have a feeling that you guys are at, if not exceeding, your maximum payload.
Maybe payload, but not towing capacity. We've got 2,200, We shipped a bunch of stuff so that we didn't have to bring too much weight.
That's great, and I recommend you get that tennis shoe because in this neighborhood it will go up on eBay very quickly. Okay, but the real question is, of course, What's it like to camp in this? I mean, has it been a good experience so far? You guys are going to campsites, right?
Yeah, and we've saved a lot of money by going to campsites. Like when we first got across the country, when we headed from South Carolina all the way to California for the first time, we were staying in hotels and we did it in 3 days. So it was like a very quick trip. We spent a good amount on hotel rooms, but this, we pay like about $35 for each site that we stay at, and we're surrounded by beautiful nature. We try to pick out like a good campsite. You know, we haven't had to stay in a Walmart yet, but I'm sure we will have to at some point. Yeah, we did have to stay at one.
So I'm curious, when you go to these campsites, you're using their power to charge a car overnight? Or no, not so much?
They haven't had to yet, or they haven't had it available for a lot of the campsites yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're deciding, is that that would be the most sustainable way, the easiest way, the most convenient way to do trips like this in the future, is when campgrounds get on board with it. And if you go on PlugShare, actually a lot of the campgrounds will say, hey, you can pay $15 to charge overnight or something like that. We just haven't done that yet. We actually usually save money by staying at their dry campsites where we don't have to pay. And then we have the Electrify America free charging for 3 years. So we just do that, right? But if we're just able to charge overnight while we're sleeping, that's so much better, so much easier. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. And some of those campsites do have 220 as well, which, could be helpful.
Yeah.
We actually went cross country in a similar truck, and we did use some campsites to keep it powered. All right, let's have a look-see.
So we bought this from a couple in California, and we bought it from them because they had a blowout, and it had a hole in the bottom of it, the whole fiberglass bottom wheel well was completely had a hole, and then all the electrical was shot too. So we've done a lot of work on it.
So you guys garaged this for a while you fixed it up to get it ready to go cross country?
Yes, yeah, we've done a good amount of work, and we really like it now. It feels homey to us.
Now,
and we built the bathrooms from scratch too.
Yeah, the bathroom, it's really rare in ones that are this small.
Yeah, that's been a game changer. To get across the country in like 2 weeks, you need a shower.
Yeah, and being able to hop in here. Well, I've seen the 16-foot versions of this, which some of them do have a little bathroom, and they're once again very rare. So having this in a 13-foot one is extremely rare, and the fact that you guys set this up is great.
Yeah, it was definitely tested us a bit. It was hard.
I'm sorry, oh, okay.
Do you want to show them the bed?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where we eat dinners and lunches sometimes, but if you want to turn it into a bed, this thing comes down, and then you lift these up, and then these cushions, they come across, and it just turns into a big bed this way.
What a cool little camper.
Yeah.
Where did you guys start out in California?
Carmel by the Sea.
Oh, I know Carmel.
Yeah. So we saw Car Week this year. That was crazy.
I bet you did. And you're going from multi-million-dollar cars hanging around to having to jump into a somewhat less expensive vehicle.
Oh, we're proud of this.
Yeah, but it's cool that you guys are. This is so rare to see this happen. When you get to North Carolina, is it Raleigh or no?
We're going to the coast. We're going to.
South Carolina.
The coast of South Carolina. We're literally going all the way to the other ocean. So
oh wow,
it's coast to coast.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a place to stay, or is this it?
We have a campsite for 4 nights, and we're gonna figure out housing once we get there. But this is a great backup. If you can't find housing somewhere, we're never gonna be homeless. We have a home.
A home. I think that is just awesome.
Simple home, but
the most annoying thing is when you're backing up and you don't turn off the maneuver braking, it'll just automatically stop for you.
Oh yeah.
A bit of a
which
jolt.
Scares us.
But that's a setting you can turn off.
Grant has all the data from this past trip, and that's including, even though you've been getting free electricity, so to speak, you've calculated what it would cost if it weren't free. So let us know what you got.
Exactly. So we've stopped about 15 times to charge since California getting to Denver.
Okay.
So it's about 1,200 miles. So we've been charging on average about every 75 miles, I'd say. Mm-hmm. We feel comfortable going about, even though our range is about 130 to 140, we feel comfortable maxing out about 110 miles, I'd say, just to have a buffer.
Yeah.
So sometimes there will be a charging station that's 120 miles, but we don't feel comfortable going maxing out that range. So we'll have to stop at one that's 40 miles from here, and then charge all the way. And it's kind of a game you have to play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it takes a lot of planning. You have to kind of know how fast to go based on how far you're trying to get. So if we have a big gap to hit, we'll go more on the lower end of 50 miles an hour versus if we're just driving a short distance, we'll, you know, bump it up to high 60s, low 70s maybe. In terms of costs, though.
Yeah, what about your costs?
So we've used 665 kilowatt hours to get here, which with Electrify America standard pricing would have cost about $275. We also used a Tesla charger with the Magic Dock in Moab. But we have free charging, so we get 30 minutes free charging at each station, and then beyond those 30 minutes, it starts charging you per the kilowatt hour. So we've charged, or it's cost us actually $87 to get from California to here.
That's not bad at all. And I believe you get Electrify America for 3 years?
Yeah, as long as they don't see this video and they're like, we gotta cancel it for these people. They're gonna be driving across country all the time. I don't know.
I think actually it's a good illustration of the fact that it can be done. Now, yeah, I mean, it's a pain to stop every 2 hours, let's say. That is difficult. We've done cross-country driving in electric cars before, and it sucks having to do that. However, there are some attributes to it, right? For one thing, you know, hey, I'm no more than 2 hours before our next charge, which means bathroom breaks. Has it been difficult with the trailer attached?
So we have it down to a science. She's the master when it comes to unhooking the trailer, actually. And we've been able to unhook it only half the time. So sometimes we're able to pull around the back, or we're kind of able to just to angle ourselves in a way that doesn't block traffic, but allows us to plug in.
Right.
If the VW ID.4 had charging up here, it would make it much easier. And that's something that's honestly they need to fix in the design, I'd say.
I agree with you. I've seen some vehicles that have it right in the front, in the nose. I think that's perfect for a lot of American Chargers, but that's neither here nor there. Well, Grant, Felicia, thank you guys so much for coming out here and showing us your cool ride. I am so curious to see how the end of your trip goes. So please give us an update.
For sure.
And send us some information. We'll put you on the website.
Yeah.
Guys, let us know if you ever considered going cross-country in an electric vehicle, especially one that's really not a tow vehicle. Let us know.
Yeah.